No, these are international orders. You can do what you want. So, should we get going? Yeah? Cool. Okay. Right, I'm here aboard the Shippo Medal out somewhere in the North Atlantic, and I'm joined by Björn Strid from the band Soilwork. If we could just jump straight into it. You're set to release a brand new double album called The Living Infinite. What made you want to do a double album?
Well, I think we needed a new challenge with the band, really, because there's been a lot of things happening, and also with Peter coming back to the band and leaving again. And I think instead of just throwing out another album with just 11, 12 songs, we needed something bigger, something epic, where we could also prove to ourselves and our fans that there's other amazing songwriters in the band. So I guess that was the main reason, and it was intentional. That was the plan from the beginning, to make a double album.
Excellent. How was the recording process doing a double album? Was it difficult, or did it just come out quite naturally, really?
Well, I would say it came out pretty naturally. We booked the studio for 2 months, and this time around we wanted to be in the same studio and not like record guitars in one studio and then drums in a different studio and have somebody else, mix it in a different studio. So that was really the what we wanted to do, and build an album from scratch in the same studio and have the whole band gathered.
Now, your last album, The Panic Broadcast, was released in 2010 and was viewed as a strong return for Soilwork. How would you say the band has developed since that album?
Well, I mean, it's been 3 years, and I think we were hinting at something that was about to come on Panic Broadcast. I think with this new album, everything is falling into the right place. And I mean, that album we're still really proud of. It was pretty diverse as well and pretty progressive, but I think you could sense that maybe we needed more than that. Maybe we needed more than just one album to accomplish a more progressive sound and pick up the pieces, a little bit from the past and the kind of playful sound we had back then.
Yeah. Well, you managed to get Justin Sullivan from New Model Army to guest on the track The Windswept Mercy. How did that come about?
Well, I've always been a fan of New Model Army, and me and Justin, we met in 2009 in Phoenix, Arizona, and we talked for quite a bit, and we exchanged email addresses, and we stayed in touch. And when we were in the studio for The Living Infinite, I decided to send him an email because I had this song that just, I don't know, it had a New Model Army vibe, and I could hear his vocals in there. So I decided to give it a shot and ask him if he would be, interested to do guest vocals. And he said yes. He replied after 10 minutes, which was pretty remarkable. And he just told me to send the track over, and he did his vocals, and I received them, and just hearing him singing my lyrics was just surreal. It was an amazing feeling.
Yeah. Excuse me, where the hell do these kids keep coming from? I swear I find like 5 of them a day on here. Hang on, just 1 second. Right, okay, cool. Oh, sorry, you didn't want that, did you? No, not yours? Okay, cool. Next question then. Here in the UK, the metalcore scene is still very vibrant. Bands like yourselves, In Flames, Dark Tranquillity, At the Gates, and more helped shape metalcore with melodic death metal. How does it feel to have inspired a generation way beyond your own?
I mean, it's really cool when you think about it. It's kind of hard to digest, really. But we are aware that a lot of American bands, or bands in the metalcore genre in general, has been really inspired by Soilwork, and especially Natural Born Chaos album. That album was definitely a bit ahead of its time, really, because it kind of became a cult classic later on, and I guess in the way we mixed clean vocals with screamy vocals, and also the arrangements in the songs, and how we mix the intensity with the melodies, really.
Yeah. Okay, now going back in history a little bit, how did your singing career begin, and when did you first realise you wanted to be in a metal band?
Well, I mean, I grew up in the 80s to like a lot of, classic bands like Kiss, Wasp, Twisted Sister, stuff like that, and that later led into Metallica and then Slayer, and around that time I was in a punk band, and so I really enjoyed kind of like the faster stuff from the extreme scene, and it's kind of hard to say exactly when I realized that I wanted to be in a metal band, but we were a bunch of people in the village where I was growing up, and we played everything from 70s disco to black metal, so we were experimenting a lot, and then I met Peter in high school, and he came up to me one day and said, well, I can see you're listening to metal, and I'm about to start this band, and would you like to sing? And I was like, well, I'm playing guitar, but let's try it. And that's how I ended up being a singer in a metal band.
Excellent. Well, now we all know that times are changing for both bands and labels in how they do press, PR, all that kind of stuff. And you are very active on social networks. Would you say that a band's social network is now one of the most important tools for exposure?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have a lot of fans on Facebook, for example. We have, I think, 250,000. So that's definitely a great way of being able to reach all our fans very quickly. So we usually post a lot of news there, and we try to be on Twitter as well. And even though I kind of prefer like the old school kind of ways of promoting yourself and through magazines and videos.
Yeah. Okay, now looking back on Soilwork's career so far, what would you say has been your best personal highlight?
Hard to say. I mean, just realizing that you're developing your vocals and get a lot of respect, from other musicians has been really a great feeling. I didn't really expect that from the beginning. I just try to kind of adapt the singing style and did screamy vocals, and then I kind of wanted to take it from there and try out new things, and so it's pretty remarkable where I ended up, and today I'm able to do so many different types of singing styles, so that has been really big for me. That's something I didn't expect to be able to do.
Brilliant. Right, one last question for you, sir. You're scheduled to start a huge American tour in March. Any plans to come to the UK later in the year?
Well, there's nothing confirmed yet, but I'm sure, we might play, if there's any summer festivals, we're working on it for sure. And it might take off when the album is out, and might be some festivals coming in pretty late. And obviously we're going to do a full European tour as well in the fall, and I'm sure that's going to include a bunch of English dates.
Awesome.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I think that just about wraps it up. Thank you very much, sir. Right, I've got like a crate of Jim Beam downstairs and a harpoon gun. What do you say we get fucked up and shoot some dolphins?